Will I start over again? I just turned on my microphone. All right, moved by Councillor Locke and second by Councillor Fry. That would be the agenda. And all in favor? And those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Now we'll read the land acknowledgement. We begin today's public council meeting by respectfully acknowledging the province of Newfoundland and Labrador as the ancestral homelands of many diverse populations of Indigenous peoples, including the Biotech, who have contributed to 9,000 years of history on the island of Newfoundland. Today, this province is home to diverse populations of Indigenous and other people. We acknowledge with respect the diverse histories and cultures of the Mi'kmaq, Innu, and Inuit. We honor this beautiful land together as we strive for collective healing and true reconciliation. Okay, Council, the minutes from January 9th are there. Errors or omissions first, please. All right, hearing none. I see on the other side of the table here, we have a motion from Councillor Antle, second by Councillor Rice, that we adopt the minutes. All in favor? Contrary-minded? Carried, thanks. Any business arising? Council, please quote the item number. Now, moving down to proclamations, if it's okay with our council colleagues. Yes. So this is Eating Disorders Awareness Week's proclamation, and it relates to the week of February 1st to the 7th of 2024. And I'm glad to see Mr. Paul Toomey here, who's going to join us now at the front as we read the proclamation together. Paul, would you like to come up? And after the proclamation, perhaps you could say a few words. I know this is something that's very dear to your heart, as well as Mr. Withers as well. Whereas an eating disorder is a serious mental illness with often devastating physical implications, and whereas eating disorders affect many individuals and families in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, and whereas recovery from an eating disorder is a journey that includes support from families and caregivers, and whereas the Eating Disorder Foundation of Newfoundland and Labrador is a leadership advocacy group dedicated to promoting awareness, treatment services, and providing family support services and information about matters related to eating disorders. Whereas Eating Disorders Awareness Week is a time dedicated to raising awareness, promoting understanding, and providing support to individuals affected by this illness. And whereas the February 1st to the 7th of 2024 now is dedicated across Newfoundland and Labrador and the entire country as a special time when many educational and awareness activities take place to help raise the level of understanding of eating disorder prevention, treatment, and recovery. Therefore, I, the Mayor of Mount Pearl, on behalf of my colleagues, we do hereby proclaim the 1st of February to the 7th of February to be observed as Eating Disorders Awareness Week here in the city of Mount Pearl. And I'm going to fix my signature there. I'm going to, Paul, try to get the microphone on in advance for you. Paul, good to see you.
Good to see you, sir.
I thought I'd add to start off is that, you know, many people are afflicted by eating disorders, but family members, entire families are really impacted by this, by eating disorders and the like. Any comment you'd like to go in that direction, sir?
Well, you are absolutely right, Mayor, that when an individual is impacted by an eating disorder, it impacts the routine and it impacts the whole family, both in terms of the way they react around the individual, their loved one, and also in the things they say, the things they do. But one of the biggest things that we find and that we spend a lot of our time at, and one of our main focuses is helping family members to better understand the illness and to be able to support their loved one on the journey to recovery, because that's the key. There is recovery and it is a journey, and some journeys are rocky, some are a little bit smoother, but it's important that the family be involved, and that's one of the things that we focus our time and attention on. Just so you know, there's approximately 3 million people in this country dealing with an eating disorder. And it's a serious mental illness based on the fact that it has the highest mortality rate of any mental illness in the country, with the exception of opioid addiction. Eating disorders are the most serious in terms of mortality, and that's concerning, but there is hope, and early detection, early prevention, and talking about the illness and getting it out in the open is what we believe is vitally, vitally important. And being here today with you folks and having you sign this proclamation and declaring it to your citizens is a help. It's a step along the way that gets people thinking and talking. And I would not be at all surprised that there is somebody out there who is maybe seeing this on your YouTube page or on Facebook, or hears something about an eating disorder. We'll probably get a phone call tomorrow saying, I think I have an eating disorder, or I think my son or my daughter may have an eating disorder. How do you help me? And that's the role we continue to play, and we're happy to do it. And this week allows us to bring attention to that. And between proclamation signings, flag raisings, building lightings, and just generally talking, we also have a lunch and learn scheduled for next week that's open to anybody across the province, thanks to Zoom. So we'll be doing these activities. Our website, edfnl.ca, best way to reach us, and we're more than happy to talk to people. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Mayor, and to you, councillors. We've been doing this for a number of years now, and it gets a lot more comfortable when you come into a place that you seem to know all the faces around the table. So I'm quite happy to come to Mount Pearl once a year. Maybe we should try to figure out a way to be doing it more often. Mayor Akers suggesting that maybe I need to downsize from Torbay and move to Mount Pearl, but you know. I certainly agree with the downsize. We have to do that. But we're open to opportunities. Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Paul. Council, any commentary, any questions? Councillor Lane, please.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for being here again this year, because this is something that's very important. I'm a teacher, so I do have experience working with a lot of students who do have eating disorders, but I think it's also so important to note that eating disorders come in every shape and size and gender, because I think there's sometimes more stigmatization when it comes to males who have eating disorders, because it's not something that's discussed as much, but it's very much still prevalent. And I'm so glad that you guys are doing the work that you do, because there's a lot of people who are struggling with this. And the work that you're doing is truly making an impact. And like you said, I do hope that people watch this and then they can go to you guys with the help that they need. So thank you so much.
Chelsea, thanks for those comments. I can tell you that just before I came here, I was interviewed by a CNA journalism school student who's graduating this year, and you'll see her byline in the Telegram come April or May. But her question to me was, why isn't there more education in the school system? And I attempted to explain to her, I think I got the right answer out there, is the fact that we always have concerns about having somebody with the right skill sets, the right education to be able to do that. But it is certainly one of our priorities to find a way to be more prevalent and more involved in the schools so that we can find the right way to talk to teachers, guidance counselors, parent councils, but even the students. But in the students' case, we want to talk about body image. And you made a very, very valid point that body image is just that. It's not a specific standard. It's everybody. It's being comfortable with who you are and being prepared to do that. So thank you for those comments.
Councillor Fry has a comment.
Hi, Paul. Thank you again for coming in. It's more of a question, actually, and it got me thinking when you were talking about people maybe watching this. If somebody suspects a loved one, a son, a daughter, an aunt, an uncle, a mother, whatever, of having an eating disorder, how do you approach that?
Your first step is to call us. Contact the foundation. We have a navigator counselor on staff. We have a program manager on staff who, by the way, both have lived experiences since they've had daughters who've gone through eating disorders. So I have people who are very, very skilled in this area, and they've gone through it. so they know what to do and they know how to direct people. And it could be information that we can provide ourselves. It may be something as simple, have you spoken to your family doctor? Because maybe you need a referral to a program. Because one other thing I will say is that we do have great treatment programs in this province. We are second to none anywhere in Atlantic Canada, and I would almost venture to say across the country, although the bigger provinces are well equipped. But certainly we're second to none in Atlantic Canada. We have an adolescent medicine program at the Janeway that does inpatient and outpatient services. We have adult programs 18 and over that are both outpatient and inpatient programs. And the individuals who work in those programs are well-trained, dedicated individuals. Do we have wait times like every other part of the medical system? Yes. But if somebody is sick enough, we will get them into the system. But we can be your gateway, and that's what we want to be.
Councillor Locke.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Paul, for coming in. Yeah, I no longer teach, but I too had experience with multiple students that dealt with eating disorders. And as a teacher, as Councillor Chelsea said, it's a delicate situation. I mean, in many cases, because we're with the children so often, in several cases, I suspected, just, observing their behaviors and conditions in them. But it's always tough to deal with the child directly.
Yeah.
So in my case, I would just, refer to the guidance counselor. And what we try to do in our lesson planning in our social studies department in particular, and other courses as well, is to break the images, the body image and the ideal body image, and let people realize that bodies come in different shapes and sizes, and to be comfortable in your skin. And toward the end of my career, while it's still, a concern and an issue, as you said, I was shocked by 3 million people, and it was the most serious. Toward the end of my career, I saw a change in the behaviors of the youth in terms of body image. So we're making progress. We're not there yet. But I would also suggest that it's due in part as well to the great work that the groups and your organizations are doing. But I just have one question to you, because you talk about diagnosing and treatment and prevention. Is there a genetic link to eating disorders, or is it all learned? Is it all behavioral? And if that's the case, is there something we could start, to your point, at a very young age, in the kindergarten, grade 1? Is that where we got to focus, or is there a genetic link to eating disorders?
In the training that my staff does, they do a program called Emotion-Focused Family Therapy. And there are segments of it that are geared towards health professionals, including guidance counselors, and geared towards families. And they have a slide, and I wish I had it here to show you. And it's called The Perfect Storm. And in the middle is the eating disorder. And on the outer ring are all of the possible things that can contribute to that eating disorder. And there's no one thing. There is absolutely no one thing. Genetics, yes, to some extent plays a part. Social media plays a part. The peer influence, what you're hearing, what you're seeing on TV, et cetera. So there are many, many factors that can trigger an eating disorder. Other mental illnesses, depression, anxiety can also manifest themselves in the eating disorder. So there's no one perfect indicator and that sort of thing. But to your point on guidance counselors, we have had great success in recent years with our emotion-focused family therapy. Of many guidance counselors across the province have come and done that training and found it beneficial. So we are gradually getting into the school system. We just need to find better ways and more ways to work with, I guess it's Schools NL now, to get our programs out there. Body image certainly is clearly the best approach to take. We actually have the end of February, we'll be hosting a webinar with Dr. Sarah Pegram, who's a noted psychologist, yes, who has written a book on body image. And we'll be starting to advertise that in the next week or so, and that'll be open to the general public. It'll be open to families. It'll be open to just about anybody who wants to come and listen to Sarah speak And so, yes, I think, you guys were on the right track then, and hopefully we can keep moving it that way. Yep. You gotta have a picture. I was warned, do not come back without pictures.
I think we need to get your contact information and based on what you're saying into our social media post.
EFNL.ca.
Call Paul at 709. We no longer have a platform.
Yeah.
We can just pretend it's here. Right?
Okay.
All right, here we go. There we go.
All right.
Anybody else? What's that? Good. Overloaded.
Oh, okay, you're not signing, right? Thanks very much.
I appreciate it.
And by the way, tomorrow we've got that stock day. Another very important day.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Say All right, council, next item on the agenda, corporate services and public works. Counselor Lane.
The first thing on our agenda this evening is the invoices for approval. Council, as you can see there in your kit. And I so move.
Off to a good start. Moved by Counselor Lane, thank you. Second by Counselor Rice. And as you say, it's there for you for your perusal. Any comments, council? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Those opposed? And that's carried. Thank you.
Second on our agenda is the payment register and purchase card report. For the information of council, the following payment register for January 5th to the 18th, 2024 totaled $828,071.86. And the purchase card report for November 28th to December 26th, 2023 totaled $358,809.48. Angela, as you can see there before you. And that was just for information purposes.
Any comments, questions? Okay.
I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Councillor Rice there now.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. Your worship, number 3 for us is our request for professional development for Director Jason Collins to attend U.S. Indoor Facility Operators Conference and Trade Show. This is from happening on April 29th to May the 2nd, 2024 at St. Petersburg, Florida. The background committee reviewed the above noted request for professional development as distributed prior to the meeting. Recommendation, the Corporate Service and Public Works Committee recommends approval of the request for professional development by Director Jason Collins to attend the 2024 U.S. Indoor Facilities Operators Conference and Trade Show in Florida on April 29th to May the 2nd, 2024. And I so move.
Moved by Counselor Rice, second by Counselor Lane. Questions? I'll call the motion. All in favor? Those opposed? That's carried as well.
Come on. Thank you. So this is, I'm very actually pleased to bring in the next one. Number 4, the City of Mount Pearl Accessibility Plan. There's a lot of information here in our kit. So further discussion at the October 17, 2023 meeting wherein the Committee of the Whole was advised that the accessibility plan came into effect on December 3rd, 2021. Which outlined the city's requirements to complete a City of Mount Pearl public accessibility plan by December the 31st, 2023. So an accessibility advisory committee was established with representatives from council, which is me and myself, and a limited number of community groups, Inclusion NL and appropriate other groups as well. We had quite the discussion with the group, and we met several times in the group. So an accessibility plan for the city was prepared and was available as per legislation. And a copy of the plan was reviewed by the committee. The legislative officer and city clerk noted that although there is a 3-year plan, it's to be considered to be a living document and can be updated throughout the 3 years. The committee was pleased that the plan was requested that this be made available through the regular report to council. So it's quite a bit of information there. I just want to read out some of the key points, I guess, regarding the plan. So a part of this is that a great city is one where everyone, regardless of age, ability, or background, can actively participate in the community. So as council, we are committed to developing an inclusive community that ensures that all individuals have access to Mount Pearl's programs, services, and spaces in a way that respects their dignity and independence. So tonight, the City of Mount Pearl is pleased to officially adopt this first-year accessibility plan. This plan is the accumulation of extensive work from countless individuals in our community, including staff, residents, advocates, associations, and persons with disabilities. As a member of the Accessibility Advisory Committee, I am proud to have the opportunity to continue contribute along with these fine people. Thanks to everyone who contributed to this plan and for the commitment to continuing this implementation. There is no doubt we have committed to accessibility because part of the accessibility plan for the city includes creating accessible boardroom here at City Hall, plans for accessible stages at the Reed Community Center and the Glacier Arena to ensure that everyone has an equal opportunity to engage in community events. We are also investing in a detailed accessibility audit, which will identify barriers that prevent individuals with disabilities from fully participating in city programs and services or accessing public spaces, technology, and information. So it's in your kit there. I'm not going to read on any further, but I just wanted to add, so the accessibility plan is now available on our city website at www.mountpearl.ca. And we encourage everyone to review the plan and think of other ways we can enhance accessibility in our community. In the coming weeks and months, we will be doing even more public engagement on accessibility. In the meantime, anyone who wishes to provide comments or feedback on the accessibility plan are welcome to email inclusion@mountpearl.ca. And I thank you for that very much, Your Worship. That's any comments there from?
I'm wondering, this is just presented for information.
Information,
There's no action required, right? The
Right.
funding was approved in the budget. The steps going forward are part of there's building blocks that get approved for this plan, right?
Yep.
Okay, just making sure. Anyway, congratulations. A lot of hard work has gone into it. I know 2 members of the committee, and I'm thinking about our city clerk are here, as well as Councillor Rice, City Clerk Walsh, and there's other people, I think, from CAO's office, Corporate Services, Dana Spurl, as well as Cassie Pittman, and perhaps others. Is there an opportunity to talk about who's on the committee further? Because I know it's not just internal. We brought out some members of the public that have really helped us along the way. Ms. Walsh, please. And I'll come to you, Councillor Antle.
So that I don't forget anybody, I'm just going to haul up my list of community members. One second. All right, I hope I don't I can't find the detailed list there now of the members. I hope I don't forget anybody. But so there's actually 2 different committees. When Councillor Rice refers to the accessibility committee, what he's referring to is the accessibility plan committee. We also have an internal, what we're calling accessibility team. So the internal accessibility team comprises of there's directors, managers, non-bargaining and bargaining staff. that are all internally working on ensuring that the accessibility plan is implemented. This internal accessibility team predates the accessibility plan team. That's when some of these initiatives such as, reorganizing this council chambers, that's where kind of that started. The accessibility team was comprised of just myself as staff, Councillor Rice as representative of council, and the rest of the committee were members of the public and disability serving organizations. I'd like to take the opportunity now to give a huge thank you to Kathy Hawkins, the Executive Director of Inclusion NL. She was integral in assisting us with preparing this plan. She took the lead in one of our discussion groups that we had with the committee, being the expert in accessibility and accessibility needs. She really guided our way through it. We also had several community members. Again, I'm afraid to say, because I'm afraid I'm going to miss somebody because I don't have the exact list in front of me, but we had Lorna Gilbert, Carol Wells, George Sweeney, Vita Taylor, Megan Webb, who were all community members from Mount Pearl, who assisted as well, providing feedback on the draft, giving us ideas of accessibility measures that they'd like to see implemented. So of course, we'd like to thank all of those people for their input and their continued input as we continue to roll out our plan.
Well, you put a lot of hard work into it. It's nice to share the level of engagement as well as, the involvement of our community. Any comments, council? Oh, sorry, Councillor Handel, of course.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a couple here. I think this is a great document, as Mark was saying earlier on. This is a living document. It's not final. It's going to continue on, and we're going to get better. This is something that makes Mount Pearl even better than it is. So, and this includes all our facilities. I mean, as we go around all our facilities now, we're all seeing things, and we're seeing things to make things better. And as Kathy Hawkins was helping us in this committee, the more we can do for everybody to make everything accessible, the better it's going to be. So I think it's a great document. I fully support this. Thank you, Your Worship.
Councillor Locke, I think.
Thank you, Mayor. I too want to acknowledge the committee and the staff for the great work here. It's nice to have this, plan in place, but I think Ms. Walsh mentioned that the City of Mount Pearl has been undertaking, initiatives to try to increase accessibility. I know, for example, with our cross lights, to help people for, the signaling, the auditory signal to help people, cross safely. I know we made changes to the design of our sidewalks and how the sidewalks cut down into our crosswalks to make it easier with people with mobility devices. So Mount Pearl has always had sort of a vision of increasing accessibility, but this gives us a formalized plan. And a key component to this plan is education. And I know, like just last week, council had Indigenous cultural diversity training with First Light. Some months back, we met with Inclusion NL with Kathy Hawkins, who again provided some insight. The motto is, you do the best you can until you know better, but when you know better, you do better. And I think this council and our staff embraces that we do try, but the more you learn, the more people you speak to, that puts another lens in your decision making. That's what I like about this council and our team with our senior staff and all of our staff, that we always strive to do better and to make our city as inclusive as possible. So it's a work in progress. To Councillor Antel's point, it's a living document, and it's quite detailed. It's a great piece of work here. And I'm just proud to say that this is not just something that we did to tick a box and put on the shelf, that we just don't talk the talk, we walk the walk here. So I'm proud of the initiatives that this council has made, and I look forward to implementing some of the plans and the initiatives outlined in this accessibility plan. Thank you, Mayor.
All good? All right, back to you, Councillor Rice. Great discussion. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'd like to acknowledge the Mayor's message in the plan as well, because, when you read through the message, the key messages in there, you don't realize that our city has estimated that there's 4,800 individuals facing various challenges that impact their freedom, independence, or quality of life. So thank you, Mayor, for your message in there. And there's some good information in the whole kit. And like I said, if you get a chance to go in and read it, it's online. And we're always open, like we mentioned, and Stephanie mentioned as well, you know, we're always open to feedback, and it's a working, living document. So it's always good for changes. So thank you. Okay, so off to our last part of our committee report. If I can get down further enough here. We have our information purposes regarding our public works status report. The committee reviewed the following status reports. Under our roads, we have our winter shift continues for the 2023-2024 season. The primary focus is on snow clearing, ice control, and as of today, all of our community rinks are open. So all the rinks are in operation. So we got 3 around the city. The city website can be checked out further, and there's a great job done on our city websites. They're updated daily, so you can go in and check our sites. And under our parks, our trail grooming will continue as the weather conditions allow. Under our fleet, service and maintenance is ongoing. I mean, this time of the year, we always got, I'm sure, stuff breaking down and parts breaking off of equipment. So, parts giving out. So we're always doing repairs. All snow clearing equipment is ready for the 2023-2024 winter season. That's ongoing as well. And under our UTM, our general calls, our plug sewer service locates, new water and sewer inspections, camera inspections, our troubleshooting, and our water and sewer repairs. Our lift station inspections and maintenance is ongoing, and our commercial water meter readings are ongoing. I guess, Director Dallemont, they're not completed yet, but they're getting close to completed, right? Am I right on that?
Yes, I'd say for the commercial water meters alone, we're probably in the 95% completed to date.
Thank you for that information. And if you look at our report so this is the new year starting off now. So we got a new scale starting off with our water levels at Bay Bulls Big Pond as of January 15th, and they're pretty consistent with where we finished off in 2023. And that's it, Your Worship, for our report. Thank you.
No, thank you very, very much. Planning, Engineering, and Development Committee report, I think, is next. If I got that right, Councillor Antle, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. There's a few here. And number 1 has to do with childcare, and it's great to see here it's happening in the city. It has to do with 48 Moffat Road. The committee was advised that the city is in receipt of an application for the property owner of 48 Moffat Road to propose to operate a family childcare. As per the application, the business will operate from Monday to Friday between the hours of 7:30 and 4:30. Prior to making this decision, council invited comments in writing no later than 12 noon, December 4th. As of the deadline, there were no submissions received. The Planning and Engineering Committee has reviewed the application pertaining to the family care use at 48 Moffat and recommends approval of the application. And I so move.
Second.
Moved by Councillor Antle and second by Councillor Rice. Comments, council, questions? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Councillor Mott.
And number 2 is quite similar. It's for 22 Pollocks Drive for a family childcare. We certainly need them here in the city. The committee was advised the city is in receipt of an application for the property owner at 22 Pollocks Drive. The supplementary application will operate the business from Monday to Friday between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. The Planning, Engineering, and Development Committee has reviewed this application with regards to childcare and recommends approval of this application. And I so move.
Second.
Again, moved by Councillor Antle, second by Councillor Rice. Thank you. Comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? And those opposed? We have another daycare approved. Thank you.
Such a good thing to do. And number 3 is our building and occupancy permit list for December the 18th to the 29th inclusive, and it's total of $35,235. And for building permits, there's 3 there in your kit. For residential, total of $17,000, and I so move.
Second.
17 and the 18 total up to 35, right? So we're approving the works. All in favor? Those opposed? Carried. Thank you.
I was going to do the building permits next, but they're already approved, so we'll move forward from there. And for your next one is your building permits and occupancy list. There's 7 there, and there's no motion needed. And And that's it. And number 4 is the development permit list for December the 4th to the 29th. And you can see them there in your kit there, and or just for your information. You don't know the motion for them, right?
But for the record, I just want to state for the minutes, we really approved 3, right? That's fair. I think that was the intention.
Yeah.
Occupancy plus residential and commercial building permits. Yeah, thank you. All yours.
Thank you.
Councillor Fry?
Thank you. I notice here on the development permit listing that there is one issued for number 83 Commonwealth Avenue. And that has been of some discussion within the neighborhood and residents as of late. I'm just wondering what that means when a development permit is issued. What does that mean for that site?
Director Antle, please.
Thank you, Councillor Fry and your worship. What that means is the development can proceed to a design stage. So the applicant now will prepare some detailed designs and submit an application for a building permit. And that's the next step.
Is there a time frame for this?
Development permits are issued for a period of 2 years for them to actually complete the work of the development permit. We would expect that in this case, this applicant is interested to proceed. We're expecting to see an application for a building permit sometime in the next several months.
That's great. Thank you so much.
All good. So that is for a motion from Councillor Antle related to the development permit listing. Moved by Councillor Antle, seconded by Councillor Rice. Councillor Lane has just stepped out for a second, so I'm just going to wait another 10 or 15 seconds just in case. Otherwise, I will have to call the question. Looking ahead to next on the agenda. Yeah, we're switching to the Recreation and Community Safety Committee. Well, okay, I'll call the question. All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carried. Recreation, Community Safety, I believe Councillor Fry is taking the lead.
That would be me. Okay, first on our agenda this evening is the registration for our babysitting course, our next babysitting course, and that's in February. So the upcoming babysitting course will help prospective babysitters learn the necessary skills to provide and care for children in a variety of situations. And this course will emphasize things like safety rules and responding to emergencies and developing leadership skills, all wonderful, wonderful skills to learn. And all of the details, of course, will be on our city website. So this is going to take place at the Reed Center in the youth room on Sunday, February the 18th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's for anyone between the ages of 11 and 15. And the cost for that is $60. It's a wonderful program. And if anybody is of that age and interested in taking on some babysitting duties, earning some extra cash, this is a great place to start. So registration dates for Mount Pearl residents will be first on Monday, January the 29th at 9 a.m. And non-residents can register on Wednesday, January 31st at 9 a.m. And this is going to be online registration only. But it's a wonderful program and I encourage people to sign up early. And I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Councillor Locke.
Thank you, Councillor Fry. We have 2 remaining items here, both dealing with our Summit Center, Aquatics. On February the 2nd of 2024, the Mount Pearl Marlins will host their Swim for Hope. Again, that's a Friday. There's not going to be any cancellations to any aquatic programming or swimming lessons, just for the information of our public. And our third item has to do with Winterfest, which is February 3rd and 4th. 2024, and this is with the Artistic Swim Club or our Synchro Club. They'll be hosting Winterfest again at our Summit Pool, and we're expecting 100 to 120 competitors, so it will be a big event. The schedule on both days, Saturday, February the 3rd is 1:30 to 8 p.m. and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. So this will involve cancellations of some city programming, swim lessons, and recreation swims. And there will be no swimming lessons during these dates and times. These cancellations, of course, will be posted on our city's website and at the facility and they'll also be shared on social media. And that's it for our committee report. Mayor, I thank you.
Thank you very much. That's going to be a really busy weekend. Now, let's do a roundtable before we adjourn. Councillor Fry, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a couple of things for me this evening. I want to start with yesterday. This week is Literacy Week in the city of Mount Pearl. I don't know if it's the rest of the province or not. I assume so. And I had the privilege of reading a book to some students at Newtown Elementary, and they were amazing. I was so impressed. They were well behaved, they were engaged, and of course I'd be remiss if I didn't give them a shout out here tonight. So I just want to give a shout out to the grade 4 class, for Mrs. Rich's grade 4 class, and to Miss Roberts' grade 5 class. And I was so happy to have met them yesterday and spend time with them. I highly encourage my colleagues to get involved in this program. It's wonderful. And also, just a couple of congratulations. The Northeast Avalon Joint Regional Council has a new treasurer. So Andrea Goss, who's a counselor with CBS, is a new treasurer for the Northeast Avalon Joint Regional Council. Mary Thorne Goss is still the chairperson, and I'm still the vice chair. So we're nice. We're a team of 3 women running this one. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. I thought you were talking about me. Well, actually, Mary is too. 2 deputy mayors. Yeah. And finally, for me, there's a lady, young lady. Her name is Courtney Clark, and she is extremely impressive. She's accomplished a lot in her short life, and I tell you, I can't wait to see what she's going to do for the rest of her life. She is currently the co-chair of Equal Voice Newfoundland and Labrador, and she's done some wonderful work. She was recently recognized with the 2023 Newfoundland and Labrador Human Rights Awards. So I just want to send out a congratulations to her because it's well deserved. And that's it for me this evening, Your Worship.
Thank you. Over to you, Councillor Locke.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I want to start off on a somber note and express sincere condolences to Minister Derek Bragg, who we all know has passed away. He was minister without portfolio, but he did serve as a Minister of Municipal Affairs at one point in his career. And he was a friend of Mount Pearl. We had a chance to engage with him several times at M&L meetings. He was such a champion for his home community, and he had a great sense of humor. And I just want to take this opportunity to send sincere condolences to Mr. Bragg's family and friends. Okay, we'll do a letter. Thank you. Councillor Rice already mentioned this, but I just had to acknowledge it again because as a kid, I loved so much outdoor skating. Our outdoor rinks are fantastic, and some of the kids that are skating, they get so excited about it. So I just want to send kudos out to our staff for the great job they've done. I know last week got a little mild, but I'm sure the ice after tomorrow is going to be rock hard, which brings me to my next point. I mean, I read today they're calling for wind chills of -29 to -30. So it will be bone chilling. So just a reminder to residents, I'm sure they've heard it as well, but it can't be stated enough. Practice safety when you're outside. You know, frost burn is a real thing tomorrow. So just keep your wits about you and stay safe out there. And that's it for me, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Director Dalamont ordered -16. That's like, spread it out a little bit. Let's warm it up a little tiny bit, but all good. Councillor Antle, please.
Thank you, Worship. Yes, Councillor Locke, it certainly was the ice rinks, but I noticed yesterday I went for a walk on the trails and our Waterford River still not froze over. Maybe after the night, the water's still running. So, anyhow, just one thing there for me, and one of the things I happened to notice there last week, and I was kind of got in my head, and I thought about this. I read somewhere that someone said on Facebook that Mount Pearl didn't pay its way, and we all know that's not true. And I thought that was very odd, and I gave Director Pippin a quick call. And one of the things, and this is only ballpark, but you know, we are partners in the regional facilities. There's several regional facilities that we're involved in. And one of the ones was the regional fire. It says St. John's on the fire department. It's a St. John's Regional Fire Department. And in that, Mount Pearl pays approximately $5.6 million for that regional facility. When you look at regional water, it says regional water is Babel's Big Pond. What is a regional water facility? In that, we pay $2.7 million. When you look at regional waste, Robin Hood Bay is a regional facility. It just so happens to be in St. John's and is managed by St. John's, but we pay $850,000. Mount Pearl pays $850,000 in that. I'm sorry, that's regional waste. That's our treatment center that you see down on the, out on the south side. Wastewater, so that's $850,000. Then you look at our regional landfill, which I just talked about, was Robin Hood Bay. You know, Mount Pearl pays $600,000 into that, or close to that. All right. One of the other things was Metrobus. You know, we're a partner with Metrobus. It's not a regional facility. It's not a regional transportation, but we do pay our fair share. And in that, we pay $1.4 million for Metrobus for the residents of the city of Mount Pearl. So Mount Pearl does pay its fair share. You know, when a regional facilities, wherever it's to a benefit to the city of Mount Pearl, we participate in regional facilities. So out of our budget of approximately $55 million, we pay $12 million in regional facilities. Mount Pearl pays its own way. And that's it for me, Your Worship.
Thank you, sir, very much. Over to you, Councillor Rice.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, it certainly shows on our invoices each month what we pay out, doesn't it? Yeah, certainly adds in there. And they add up. Just a couple of things for me, Your Worship. I got, the first one is tomorrow night is our community supper again. And tomorrow night, First United Church on Park Avenue are the hosts of the community supper. So they're always looking for volunteers. So if you're interested in volunteering and helping out in some way or part or whatever, call the church office at 368-2194. I'll be up there helping out as much as I can tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon. So if you're free, drop up and help out. And it's always a good community event, and it's always a great purpose for what it's done. The second one is our Frosty Festival. So I just want to make a comment on Frosty Festival again, because I know they're looking for volunteers, and there's on their website, frostyfestival.ca, you can go in and you can sign up there to volunteer if you want to go to an event. I know there's some tickets left for some events, but they're getting down to the nitty gritty of it all now to be told. Most of the events are sold out, but there's a few events with a couple of tickets left. And there's only 17 days left for the event, and it runs from February the 9th till the 17th. And we just don't have that for the residents of Mount Pearl. We're open to anybody coming in from outside, as we usually do. It's a great event, and it's been on the go 42 years. So I just want to acknowledge the work that the city of Mount Pearl, all the volunteers and the committee, the board, and the city of Mount Pearl puts into that event. And it's after becoming so big, I guess, over the years. And I just look forward to it every year, and I'm looking forward to it again this year. And that's it for me, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. I think Councillor Lane had to step out for a few minutes. So I'll conclude, I guess, the council meeting with my roundtable. But I just wanted to speak to an interview I did last Friday related to some of the goings on here in the city with some of our youth, you know. And I know the RNC has been actively engaged on this matter. And of course, they are primarily responsible for, you know, violence, criminal activity in the city. But I want to give a big shout out to our community safety people here, or municipal enforcement, for helping out too at the same time. It's hard to comment in the middle of an investigation, and to be honest with you, posting on Facebook, you know, that's free speech, but not necessarily truly factual. But if parents have an issue with their children, if teachers, if members of the community, if we see people in need, call the RNC. I think that's really, really most important. And kudos to some of our staff up and around and about the Reed Center who helped out one of the individuals who was a victim, let me say, there. I believe it was during last week. So some of the stuff you're reading on Facebook is accurate, some of it's not, but we all have to work together, you know, as citizens, teachers, parents, children, volunteers, as we work together to continue to make what is our number one priority here in this city. This council's number one priority is safety, and we're glad we've got the full cooperation of the RNC, and they'll continue to do their investigation to continue to make our city a great place to live and also a very safe place to live. So I just want to end on that note, invite my colleagues if they'd like to comment on that a little bit further. Hearing none, I'm going to call for a motion. Councillor Fry. I understood that you want, she's good, right? Yeah, okay. You sure? Yeah, okay, thanks. So Councillor Lane, on motion from you and second by Councillor Rice, we're adjourned.